So we've been talking now for quite a while about all the problems in food. The question is, what should we do to actually make a meal? What needs do we have and what obstacles do we have to traverse? My colleagues and I have actually determined what's healthy. Now, you'll notice that the FDA does not have a definition of healthy. The USDA does not have a definition of healthy. We do. We have determined what actually is healthy. And it's three things. We call it the Metabolic Matrix. Three things: protect the liver, feed the gut, support the brain. Any consumable that passes your lips that does all three of those is healthy. Any food that does none of those three is poison. And any food that does one or two but not all three is going to be somewhere in the middle. And obviously the goal is to have as many things that protect the liver, feed the gut, and support the brain as is possible. All right? How do you determine that? 4 precepts. You need to get rid of the sugar. You need to add fiber. You need to add omega-3 fatty acids, heart healthy, anti-inflammatory, anti-Alzheimer's, save your life. And lastly, you need to chuck the emulsifiers. Emulsifiers are things that hold fat and water together, okay? They're detergents. They're what you put in your clothes washer. They are Tide. The reason that Tide lifts the stain out of your clothes is because it lets the fat and the water be miscible together. So what happens when you swallow a detergent? You burn a hole in your intestine and you end up in the emergency room. In fact, if you swallow a detergent, it will strip the mucin layer, the protective coating on your intestinal epithelial cells, right off your intestine, allowing the bacteria in your intestine access to your bloodstream and driving irritable bowel syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, and leaky gut, leading to systemic inflammation. And there goes your chronic metabolic disease right down the tubes. So, protect the liver, get rid of the sugar. Feed the gut, add fiber, and it's got to be soluble and insoluble fiber. Support the brain, omega-3s, and get rid of the toxins, like for instance heavy metals like cadmium and mercury and arsenic. And finally, junk the emulsifiers. Okay, so where are the emulsifiers? If you look at the side of a package and you see the words mono and diglycidyl esters, that's a compound called E471. It is a cheap emulsifier that the entire food industry uses, and it needs to be banned, and we're working on it. Okay? We've just written a paper, and it's going to be out shortly, very specifically to get rid of E471. All right, are there any emulsifiers that are good? Well, there are some that are better than others, like for instance, naturally occurring lecithins, like for instance, soy lecithin, not as good because it's soy, but there are some others as well. Sesame lecithin. Bottom line, those are the things that ultimately determine whether a food is healthy or not. Now, are there other things to be concerned about? Sure. For instance, do you have to eat organic? And the answer is, depends what it is. If it's fruit, depends if it has a hard skin or a soft skin. If it's got a hard skin, you can wash it. If it's got a soft skin, you should buy organic. What about GMOs? Okay, if it's been exposed to glyphosate, let it stay at the store. You don't want it. Okay, but unfortunately, glyphosate's in a lot of things, and so it may be very hard to tell. What about meat? So a lot of people are very down on meat. They're all yelling plant-based this, plant-based that. Don't forget that Coke, Doritos, and Oreos are all vegan. Okay? Just because something's plant-based doesn't make it good. And a paper just came out showing that ultra-processing plant-based proteins actually remove the benefits of those proteins and end up leading to increased cardiovascular risk also. Again, it's not what's in the food, it's what's been done to the food. I'm for plants, I am against processing. And a lot of the new items that are out there that are plant-based are specifically processed. So you can't take that as a, as a green light as well. Ultimately, what this all comes down to is eat real food, because real food has low sugar, high fiber, high omega-3s, and no emulsifiers. So how do you know when you're eating real food? It's easy, because real food doesn't have a label. The more labels you read, the sicker you are. So, best thing, stay out of the grocery store, stay out of the aisles, go to your local farmer's market, buy your food there, and you'll be good to go.